Things you would never bring up in therapy, you could bring up here.
It's going to be so hard seeing my ex with someone else.
You don't get over it, you get through it. Seeing your ex with someone else is a visceral kind of pain, right? It hits below logic, right in the gut. I get it. Even if you know that the relationship is not gonna, have a round two, something still kind of shatters, because it's not just about them being with someone new. It's about your story rewriting itself without your permission, right? It's the loss of control, right? So here's some tips on how to start moving through it. Number one, let it hit. It's truth. Don't try to outsmart the pain, actually feel it, name it. Don't numb it, don't bypass it, don't disguise it, right? Accept it, feel through it. Number two, separate what hurts from what's true. It might feel like I'm irreplaceable, or I'm replaceable, or I wasn't enough, or it might activate a lot of false beliefs. But what's true is two people had a story, that story ended, and now they're writing a new one, right? You included. Just because you're not with someone right now doesn't mean that you're not writing your story. Number three, I would say stop stalking the ghost. Unfollow, mute, block if you need to. Your healing can't coexist with the constant feed of their new life, Healthy boundaries, basically. And number four, reclaim your timeline. They're not ahead because they found someone. Healing isn't a race. And I gotta say, through experience, if you get with someone too fast, chances are that's not gonna last, right? There needs to be some time for people to reflect and to own and to reposition. Anyway, thank you for your question.
How to process the pain of a breakup. It is excruciating.
Yeah, it could feel excruciating because it is. You're not just losing a person, you're losing a rhythm, a ritual, a version of yourself that only existed with them, right? So it's not just grief, it's grief for life you thought you were going to have with this person, right? It's the secondary loss. Anyway, here's how to process the pain. Not to get over it, but to move through it. One, don't rush the hurt. Let the pain crash like a wave. Don't try to outswim it or numb it or push it away or suppress it. Let it wreck you. Let it consume you, right? It's not going to be forever. Yield. And then notice what's left standing. That part, because that's going to be the authentic you. That's going to be who you've built. Number two, separate loss from rejection. We often tangle up heartbreak with feelings of not enough. But someone not choosing you doesn't mean you're unworthy. It just might mean that your paths had different destinations, right? You guys weren't a right fit. And if you look at it that way, you might have saved a lot of time. And number three, make space for grief rituals. Give yourself space to grieve. Do whatever it takes to externalize, not internalize the pain. Give it shape so it doesn't stay logged in your body. And also, the last step is to pick up my book, Break Up on Purpose. It's all about expired relationships, going through all the different types of relationships, and what you can do to start healing from your breakup, turning your breakup into breakthroughs.
I'm starting over in my 40s. Any tips?
I'm starting over now, and I started over when I was 35, and this starting over is very different than my last starting over, but starting over in life is what creates act breaks, and without the act breaks, you have no story. Starting over is what's prescribed to create the soil for your life to bear fruit. I think if you are never starting over, you go from living to existing, you become grayed out, you become a walking reaction, just a knee-jerk to old patterns, right? Starting over is when you stop tracing what was and start creating what is. You have to start over once in a while. Not every year. And of course, our definition of starting over is going to be different. There's a spectrum, but this idea of a giant life etch-a-sketch shaking so you can start new. I think that's what creates life. I think that's what injects life, creating new lenses, learning. Anyway, my tip for you is, it's just one word: curiosity. Pull from curiosity. I think so many of us, because of the world that we live in, pull from judgment, and curiosity and judgment can't exist at the same time. Like hope and fear can't exist at the same time. So when you are pulling from curiosity, you are kinking judgment. And so in that space, you are expanding and allowing miracles to happen. Seeing the world through a new lens, a lens of wonder, childlike, not immature, but the eyes before we had to pay taxes and live with a lot of shoulds before we became afraid.
I'm 47 years old. How does one navigate this dumpster fire of online dating?
At 47, you've got what most swipe happy people don't, and that is clarity, scars, standards, stories. And online dating can feel like a dumpster fire. I get it. It's mostly because of how it's engineered, right? For dopamine, for your shot. So you guys start looking for meaning, not matches, right? And this is how you do it. Number one, use the apps. Don't let the apps use you. Set time limits. Be intentional. This isn't Costco. You're not sampling soulmates. Number two, lead with truth, not tactics. Tactics. Forget trying to be impressive. Instead, be honest, be raw, be transparent, be specific. That's what cuts through the noise. I'm not here to pretend dating is easy. I just want one real connection built on something solid, right? That's the mindset. Curate, don't chase. You're not for everyone, and it's something you have to remember and accept. And that's actually your superpower, because swipe like someone who knows their worth, not someone begging for a spark. Or just get off the apps completely as soon as you can. Energy can't be felt through a profile, a real conversation, a phone call, a meetup. That's where truth lives, right? That's where the exchange is pure. And then also create other portals. The internet is only one path. Community hobbies, workshops, walking your dog with intention. And finally, number 7, jump into my Single on Purpose community, where it's not about swiping, but it's about connections, like-minded singles, all trying to connect to themselves first. So as far as meeting people, I would stick to micro communities instead of just throwing wide nets and internalizing when people don't swipe back.
Is there ever a reason to go back to an ex? 1 year apart and feels so much better.
Sure, there can be a round 2, but it's not just people changing or people missing each other. It's internal change. That's what's required. Because it's only through internal change, where people are different in the way they show up, that the relationship dynamic is then different, right? And those tracks have to be new, or you're going to fall into the same dynamic, the same pitfalls. The same thing that brought the plane down is going to happen again, unless the dynamic of the relationship is different. And in order for the dynamic of the relationship to be different, two people have to show up to the relationship differently. And in order for that to happen, there has to be internal change, not just different hairstyles or the realization that there isn't much out there or feeling lonely. So yes, a round 2 can definitely happen, but there has to be huge internal shifts, internal change, internal growth for a new relationship dynamic to be born.
How can I be more secure while dating?
Here's how to feel more secure without having to pretend that you don't care. Number 1, don't confuse chemistry with compatibility. Sometimes that butterfly, that exciting feeling is just your nervous system recognizing chaos, right? And we mistake intensity for chemistry. Learn to pause, sit with it. What is that attraction? Where's it coming from? Number 2, stop auditioning. You don't have to audition on dates. You're not trying to prove your worth. There is a exploration of alignments, right? You're not auditioning, you're not wanting something, you're not chasing something, you are exploring. And number 3, I would say, ask better questions. Not do they like me, but do I feel safe and seen and respected around them? Do they have capacity? How does my nervous system feel? Do I feel regulated? And I would regulate instead of ruminate. When your anxiety spikes, ground yourself, go on a walk, take a breath, call a friend, don't wait by the phone. What's hard about dating is when you find someone who you are excited about, everything is activated, you get impatient, you think the stakes are high, and that's when you have to kind of step back and relax. This is one of my goals in our single purpose school, is to help people feel more secure authentically, not pretending from the inside out, so you're no longer faking it.
What does self-worth actually look like?
Real healthy self-worth is not a shout, it's quiet. It's in the walkway, the hallway. It's the journey there. It's canceling your plans so your nervous system can rest. It's not wanting to write a whole paragraph and explain something. It can just be no, and I'm okay with it. It's saying that I'm not available for that without needing the other person to understand. It's not proving, chasing, fixing, or performing. It's being rooted, so rooted that you no longer audition for rooms you don't even want to be in. Self-worth isn't something you say. Self-worth is something you need to do to stop proving. It's a state. It's a relationship built and always building with self. And when you get there, you feel it in your body, not just in logic and not in other people's approval. Self-worth is earned, it's building, it's a lot of reps. And also it's a lifetime of work. This is one of the topics that we cover in my Single on Purpose School, which starts July 9th. So if you want to start rebuilding yourself and your worth, you jump in, link in bio.
What's the blueprint to a secure relationship, in your opinion?
Emotional safety is the ground floor. You have to be able to feel safe, messy, afraid, excited, hurt, confused, and you don't get punished for being human. You trust that your partner's not out to shame you, to fix you, or to leave you, but to actually open you up, right? Assuming that securely attached to, say, a greenhouse, that would be the ground floor. The wiring of the house would be open communication. You talk, you listen, you repair, not perfectly, but consistently, and you don't stonewall or punish people with silence. You say what you need and how you feel, and you care when the other one does the same, right? You stop trying to win and you start trying to understand. And then I would say boundaries are the walls of this house, and it's important to have boundaries or you have no walls and the house will start crumbling down. So a securely attached relationship doesn't mean merging. It means two whole people choosing to stay connected. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to want space. You don't need to disappear to be rejected, right? Love without boundaries is not love. That's enmeshment. That is a dependency, and that is sticky. And then I would say the roof of the house is consistency. It doesn't swing from hot to cold. You're not left guessing. Love isn't weaponized, or love isn't punishment. The foundation isn't cracked by mood or manipulation. And then finally, the door of this house is ownership. There has to be ownership in any securely attached relationship for people to grow, to evolve, and to bring something new to the table, because love is a living, breathing thing. And as we change, our love changes. So ownership is the front door.
How do you know if a relationship is breaking or healing you?
I think relationships, healthy relationships, are actually meant to break us to heal us. And I don't mean break us as in a toxic, unhealthy way. I don't mean break us in an unhealthy space that, gets you to not grow, right? I mean break us in a way that people challenge us. I mean break us in a way where through choosing to love someone, you actually learn more about yourself, about love, about what's important, right? You start to create new definitions on what love looks like, right? So in that way, I think that relationships are meant to break us. Break us in the sense of holding up mirrors. Break us in the sense of us doing a self-inventory, looking at our shortcomings, our patterns, what's healthy, what's unhealthy, you know? In a way, the breaking of us is what heals us. If there is no breaking, to me, there is no healing.
Because of my childhood trauma, I don't know how to receive love. I push it away unless I have to chase it. What do I do?
Learn that love was something to earn, not something to receive. So now, as an adult, when love is offered freely without having to hustle for it, your body reads it as foreign, unsafe even. So chasing love gives you a sense of control. The terrain, longing, proving, anticipating. It's exhausting, but at least it's familiar, right? So receiving love, just being still and letting someone care about you without strings requires a kind of surrender that can feel like a threat when your inner wiring says, if I'm not useful, I'll be abandoned, right? If I don't perform, I'll be forgotten. So it's not that you are broken, it's that your system was built for survival, not for softness. Your protectors are doing their job. Don't trust it. Don't get too close. It might disappear. That's old wiring, not the truth. The good news is this can change, but not through logic. It changes by giving your body new love experiences, a corrective love experience. And you can start small. Let someone help carry something for you without you wanting to give them something, take in compliments, let someone love you where you're at, not where you're trying to be. And when that panic rises, the one that says you don't deserve this, pause and tell it you're not charged anymore. I'm safe now, right? Let the logic drive to give your body this new experience. Receiving is a practice, and it's not passive. It's some of the bravest work you'll ever do.
Have you ever dated someone that has depression? If so, how did you support them and yourself?
Because I was the one who was depressed, and I wasn't like I couldn't get out of bread. I was living in bread. Bread is what my mom calls my brother. His name's Brad. She calls him bread. Broken English. It's not that I couldn't get out of bed. I had this thymia. I maneuver in extremes, so I'm like really happy, cloud nine, or I'm very low grade, down, just kind of like grayed out, right? I'm functioning, but I'm just not happy. And so a lot of my relationships in my 20s and 30s, I was a miserable, was grayed out. I was going through life, not producing joy and lifting people up. Yes, I was documenting my story and I was, talking about my feelings, but in my relationships, my personal relationships, I feel like overall I brought people down. I took hostages. Anyway, to answer your question, ask your partner how you could help your partner with his or her depression. And then ask yourself how much of that is you not abandoning self, right? It's like the whole, you got to put the oxygen mask on before helping other people. You can't lose yourself by helping someone else, right? So I always say, I will give you my hand, but not my life. You have to determine what that looks like.
How do you navigate loneliness without losing yourself?
This is a great question. Loneliness isn't just being alone, it's being with yourself and feeling like you're a stranger in your own skin. You don't know yourself. It's the ache that creeps in when the noise fades and the distractions wear off. And most of us, when that silence hits, we want to run, right? A lot of times when I felt lonely, I needed a distraction, a late night text, a hookup, a memory, something that should have been left in the past. But remember, every time you run from loneliness, you also abandon yourself, the part of you that needs you the most, right? There's a disconnection. The inner you, the honest you, the younger you, the you that's been asking for years to be heard without having to disconnect with self or without having to scream. What if loneliness wasn't about something to escape, but something to meet? What if it was less about a punishment and more like a pause, a space where the world stops spinning long enough for you to remember truly who you are. Because the truth is, sitting with yourself is a religious act. It's a spiritual act. Sitting with yourself and working through everything that comes up is the act of connecting to yourself, right? So when you stop abandoning yourself in the name of being wanted and you start sitting with self and becoming whole, you stop auditioning, you stop performing, and then you start building a relationship that doesn't disappear when the room empties. So the next time the loneliness shows up, don't treat it like an enemy. Don't line it with shame. Just sit with it, breathe into it, and say, I'm not going anywhere. Instead, I'm going to get to know me. This is a huge topic that we're going to cover in the Single on Purpose School.